Hi again, everybody, and welcome into MASL TV. This afternoon, the Kansas City Comets with a 5-6 record welcome in the winless Rochester Lancers. Great to be teamed with Eric Bergrud. And Eric, let's first talk about the Rochester Lancers. They're having a tough season, but they are led by a veteran who's got the ability to turn things around.
So he's not only a legend in Rochester, he's arguably one of the best arena players of his generation, going into his 40s and scoring goals. And so he's taken an approach, bringing back the Lancers this year, a young team, a local team. It's going to be interesting to watch. They got the first goal last night, but then they started to get it picked apart by Milwaukee.
Yep. And Soccer Sam, we got to give a shout out to Soccer Sam. It's great to have him back in the MASL as well. Let's talk about the Comets. The last time that they were here at Silverstein, one of the most exciting games of the season. And one player in particular who is having a really good season, and that is a guy on the back line. Tell us about him.
So number 51, Roberto, I almost couldn't get it out of my mouth. Robert Palmer, he goes by Berto, was named to the MASL Team of the Week. 2 goals on offense and an unbelievable block on an Alex Bradley shot that could have tied the game in the waning seconds. And so he earned what he did last week. And you watch against Rochester, the defenders are going to have to score because their defense is going to be pulled all the way back.
Yep, and he leads the team in block shots with 24. Let's talk about the Comets keeper, Nicolau Neto. He's had a couple of games to get into the mix. He's going to be making his 3rd start this afternoon. What do you make of him so far early?
So they threw him in early. Milwaukee here, Milwaukee away, strong with his feet. I think the other teams have shown some respect to him. They know his foot skills. They've heard the stories about him. His distribution strong. He got an assist on one of the goals in that Milwaukee game here. This will be a game for him to show command and work out the defense because they have some big games coming up in the next couple of weeks.
All right, thanks a lot. It's the Kansas City Comets hosting the Rochester Lancers. It's coming up next on MASL TV.
From Sao Paulo, Brazil, number 27, midfielder Gui Gomez. From Aguas Calientes, Mexico, number 30, midfielder Hector Solorio. And from Olathe, Kansas, number 99, goalkeeper Mark Saxby. And now for today's Comet starters. From Kansas City, Missouri, number 3, defender Ray Lee. From Belgrade, Serbia, number 20, captain and forward Stefan Stukic. From Santiago, Chile, number 23, defender Nacho Flores. From Kansas City, Missouri, number 18, forward Kevin Ellis. From Kingston, Jamaica, number 51, defender Robert Palmer. From Juazeiro do Norte, Brazil, number 1, goalkeeper Nicolau Neto. And ladies and gentlemen, from Monrovia, Liberia, number 14, Comets forward and Comets head coach, Leo Gibson. Comets goalkeeper coach is former Comets legend Alan Mayer. Comets assistant goalkeeper coach is Kenny Mayer. Comets head athletic trainer is Sean Doomers. Equipment manager is Butch Schumann. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let's hear for your 2020 Kansas City Comets. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and remove your caps and direct your attention to the American flag above sections 116 and 117. Now please join us in paying respect to our colors as Lindsey Byam performs our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Comets fans, a hand for Lindsey Byam.
A very good Sunday afternoon, everyone. Welcome into MASL TV here live from Silverstein Eye Center's arena. This afternoon, it's the Kansas City Comets with a record of 5-6 hosting the Rochester Lancers, who are winless on the season. Alongside Eric Bergerud, I'm Nick Vassos. Great to have you here. Eric, we had a chance to talk to Doug Miller, the head coach of the Rochester Lancers, before the game here. Fans might remember back in 1991, Doug Miller was the #1 pick in the MISL draft, but he never quite made it to Kansas City.
And he talked to his team about that just to tell them, look what happened. They folded, didn't sign me. So he's chomping at the bit. He looks in great shape.
Yeah.
Had some interesting stories for us. He recognizes this is a young team, and he's preparing them to get through this season and move on. But I think he understands that his young team has to play some teams that are seasoned, that are veterans, and he looks at this as a test. And we'll see.
Yeah.
They won the first quarter last night.
That's right.
And then things kind of went south. So they're going to be tired. It's going to be an interesting game.
It's going to be a tough game for them this afternoon, no question about it, facing a Kansas City team that appears to have all of the players in position right now. Kansas City coming off a tough loss on the road up in Milwaukee. Man, they had that. It was such a close game, but they just could not pull through with the win.
Well, and I'm sure Coach Gibson would say no excuses. They were short some players, Kevin Ellis with his Achilles, and so there were 6 guys out. They played well enough to win. They were in the league. Arena soccer, Chino got Stokic to move down. Nothing that Neto could do, and there you are.
We'll see what happens today. Nicolau Neto, there's Ray Lee, the Comets' second leading scorer. But Nicolau Neto will be making his third start in goal today for the Comets. They have Kevin Ellis back once again. Of course, Leo Gibson, their leading scorer. He has 31 points on the season. But it's guys like Ray Lee who have to continue their good play here and then throughout the rest of the season here, because the Comets don't have an easy schedule. Okay, they're going to play teams that have 500 or winning records down the stretch. Unlike teams like Baltimore, who are going to play 11 games against teams with that do not have winning records.
Apparently this is a point of contention for you. You've been paying some attention to this, Nick.
Well, you and I both have, Eric. Just to fill in to know what I'm talking about, let everybody know what I'm talking about. The Baltimore Blast have 4 games left with Rochester, 4 with Harrisburg, and 3 with Orlando. That's 11 games right there, folks. So Baltimore, I don't have the standings right in front of me, but Baltimore right there among the leaders.
I actually updated that for you, Nick. So
thank
you
you very much.
And they've got Harrisburg tonight.
So they're just out. They're just outside. They're just outside of the playoffs. Now we got our first penalty of the game, and this is going to go against Kansas City.
Yeah, that was on Neto. He was a little loose with the ball, lost it, decided that maybe he would slide in, and he took out Frankie Siliberto. Good call by the referees. We'll see who serves this penalty for Mr. Neto.
So that's kind of good start to Doug Miller and the Lancers are looking at right there.
This will be a shootout first, right? Yep.
So they're going to put the ball in the feet of, that looks like Jeremy Ortiz out there right now. I can't see a number, but that looks like Ortiz. And he'll go against Neto. Here is the shootout. Ortiz behind the ball. Ortiz, one of the few veterans on this Lancer squad. See what happens here. Comets got to put somebody in the
coach.
box.
Come on out.
Here he comes. Leo comes across the field. He'll serve the penalty.
So Rochester defended one of these last night. The typical Ferdinand waited for Ian Bennett to race up the side, pass it to him, and they score. We'll see what Rochester has in mind today.
He'll go against Neto. Ortiz, one touch. Shoots, save made by Neto. What a save by the Comets new keeper.
Redeemed himself since that was on him. I guarantee that was his first professional shootout, so he can claim he's 100% of defending shootouts now in the MASL.
So Rochester sets up. They're now on the power play for the season. Rochester is 1 of 9. That's 11% on the power play this year. The Comets on penalty killing are 9 of 18, so they're 50% killing penalties. Swing it near side for Ortiz. Down to the corner it comes to Godey. Near side Rafa. Now to Ortiz. Here's Ortiz to Rafa. Hits it first time. Save and a block and a rebound and a score. Gary Boughton gets the tally, and it's 1-0 power play goal to Rochester.
I was just about talking about ball movement, and then quick shot. You'll see both both Nacho and Neto went down for it. Nacho beat Neto to it. Deflection. Goalkeeper's on the ground. Easy tip in, 1-0, and that really improves Rochester's average right there. Good for them.
Just like last night when they were in Milwaukee.
Early score. So they're doing what they did last night in Milwaukee. It's like a 2-3 zone in basketball, putting everybody behind the ball. What's interesting is they turned that into a 4-person counter, so it'll be interesting to see how many guys they bring up. But they, at one point, went from a 2-3 zone to a 4-man sprint up the field. And what Milwaukee eventually did.
Here's Adam James on the doorstep. Could not get a second touch on that one. And it is hit out of bounds off of the Comets. And so it'll stay with Rochester. 12:29 left to play.
So what Milwaukee wound up doing last night is they looked for back post runs to break open this defense, and they were taking shots from the yellow line. And I expect to see the Comets do both. I expect to see Ray Lee get the ball a lot, and I would look for some back post runs just to try to split defenders.
Comets there with some high pressure on the Rochester keeper. That one got away a little bit. Rochester trying to clear it. Adam James with one touch, fires it in there, and then the rebound is kicked away. Alex Harling with the ball now. Touch there by Rosano, their leading scorer. He has 10 points with 5 goals and 5 assists. Now to Ortiz. Played into the target. Kicked back out by the Comets, and they win the ball.
You mentioned Rosano. Coach Miller told us before the game Rosano could play for any team in this league. He's that high on him, and obviously the leading scorer for the Rochester Lancers.
Head coach Doug Miller building from within his own community in the Rochester area. Here's a drive by Gibson, save made by the keeper.
So talking about goalkeepers, this is the third goalkeeper they've used this weekend. This is
22.
Yeah, it's Marcelo Morera. So they split goalkeepers last night, and there were two other guys. First half, second half. Both played well. Goal.
And a shot at a goal by Leo Gibson. Gibson gets on the board, and we're tied at 1.
Speaking of goalkeepers and ball movement, so when 5 guys are back, you need to spread the ball around. Take a look at Coach Gibson's goal. So actually, that was a deflection off Lancers defender, short side on Morera. Gibson made no mistake. And again, that's how the goals are going to come in against a team that's packing it back from weird angles, just because you can't do anything right in front of the goal. So it's a young team. Coach Miller is trying some different things. He split goalkeepers last night, so Brian Wilkin got the start in the first half.
A penalty is coming up against Rochester. No, it's not too many men on the field. I think it's a tripping penalty is going to go against, I believe it's going to go against Tim Crawford. I could be wrong. Yep, there's Crawford. He's in the sin bin. So Kansas City goes on the power play. And for the Comets, they're 47% on the year. Gibson leads the Comets, as you might imagine, power play goals for 3. And in penalty killing, Rochester has been shorthanded 14 times. They've allowed 7 power play goals. Even I can do the math there. That's 50%.
There you go.
And, it looks like they're going to award a shootout to Kansas City.
So is this going to be Ellis? Is it going to be Gibson? It looks like it's Gibson, huh?
Looks like it is Gibson. Maybe Ellis was asking, can I take that, Coach? And
Coach says, no, I got this. When's the last time you saw dueling shootouts in the first quarter, Nick?
Leo Gibson taking the shootout for the Comets.
Well, this might have been back in the old NPSL days in the three-point scoring system, you know?
Yep.
Gibson, one touch, fires, and hits it home. 2-1, Kansas City. Gibson with a second early on in the game.
Something I noticed with Milwaukee last night, we'll take a look at Coach Gibson's goal here. He took his time, waited to see if the goalkeeper would commit, went left post, no problem there. Something Milwaukee did too, in addition to spreading the ball around, on power plays, on set pieces, they delivered last night, and I would expect the Comets to be working on their set piece offense here just to see if they can get it right. I also noticed last night Milwaukee played an awful lot of players. I would expect a lot of guys to get some time. What the Comets need more than anything else is healthy guys in midseason form, so I would expect Coach Gibson to experiment a little bit.
No question, they're without Lucas Rodriguez tonight. He's still dealing with a painful hamstring. Got a timeout on the field as we look inside the Comets huddle. There's one other game around the MASL today, and that is in Baltimore, in Harrisburg. Baltimore's traveling to Harrisburg. Baltimore winning last night over San Diego, and Harrisburg is 7-4, and I think we've mentioned that 6 of their 7 victories have come against Rochester. So Harrisburg has a tough stretch of games down the stretch. They've still got Baltimore 3 times, Milwaukee twice, Utica City twice, and then they play St. Louis, Kansas City, Tacoma, and Dallas. So Harrisburg has been there in one of those 4 playoff spots throughout the first half of this season. I would expect that they will start dropping as they play some of the top echelons in the MASL.
Well, I think the challenge for the Comets is it's easy to start scoreboard watching. I was doing it the other night when Orlando was against St. Louis. I'm like, come on, Orlando, you got to do this. And they didn't. But ultimately, it's going to come down to the Comets winning all their games at home. They've got to win at least one in Milwaukee this year.
Yep.
They're going to have some East Coast games where they're going to play these guys in Rochester. They got to play in Utica. They got that Florida trip. They have to figure it out.
And as we were talking to Doug Miller, you can see him there in the huddle. You know what? He's thinking his team down the stretch could be season records for other teams in the MASL.
When if you look at the Eastern Conference, there's 4 teams there kind of stuck in the middle, and it might just be in the not necessarily the last day, but the last month where there's a team that looks past Rochester, and all of a sudden they find themselves on the outside looking in when it comes to playoff time.
I think Rochester's opponents are going to be favored in every single game against them, with exception of the last one, and you've already looked at
Orlando.
it.
I'm waiting for that game. And we've seen Orlando. It's going to be interesting to see. They've had so many player changes.
Yeah.
I think that Rochester has a shot. The one thing I noticed with Rochester last night, there wasn't a lot of offensive consistency, and I think the Milwaukee announcers caught that pretty well, that they need to build pressure on offense to relieve pressure on their defense. They defended a ton and blocked a ton of shots last night.
5 behind the ball here. Rochester comes up with a loose ball. They clear it out. Kansas City trying to take it back over, and Berto plays it back to the KC keeper, Neto. Up to Adam James. Trots it across the half line and leaves it for Guy Gomez, who's now back in there. He was out a game or two in the concussion protocol, but feeling much better now. Saw him in warm-ups. He looks good. Had a smile on his face. Happy to be out there. Kicked away. Gomez has got it. Big right foot, and that one goes up and over the glass. Goalkeeper distribution coming up for Rochester.
So you're ready for a Craig Elston theory? The Comets don't normally wear white at home, but I was watching the Sockers and the Mesquite Outlaws last week, and the Sockers were wearing their road uniforms at home, and Craig Elston said they didn't have enough time, Mesquite didn't have enough time to get their uniforms changed, so they brought 2 sets on the road, and we'll hold that thought.
And there's a chance and a good save there by the keeper.
So it seems like there may be something different, and the Comets fortunately had their white uniforms handy. So they're playing with their road kits today, unusually at Silverstein Ice Center's arena.
Near side Lewis. Kansas City leading 2-1 on a pair of goals by Leo Gibson. Leo now has 18 on the year. Here's Kevin Ellis with a touch back to Lewis. Lewis to Sandovari. James into Gibson. Gibson touches it back to Lewis. Forward it goes up to Nacho. Into Ellis. Back to Sandovari. Comets pinging it around here. Some good possession time. Ellis near side for Leo. Gibson to his left. To the inboards. Ball is loose. Ellis got a touch on that one. Now Leo up with the loose ball, floats it back in there to Ellis, who popped it up into the air and goes over the glass out of bounds. Kevin Ellis dealing with some Achilles tendonitis. Looks like he's moving pretty good this afternoon.
He also probably wants more goals. He missed his chance at Milwaukee last week, and he's thinking, oh, maybe there's an opportunity. This team will frustrate them, playing 5 guys back. You ultimately have to stay focused in the game, not lose your control if you're the Comets, and look for your opportunities, and they will come.
Lancers play it out to Ortiz. Now played near side to Loncao. Away from the goal. Off the foot of Amico. And then played back to Gary Boughton. Gary Boughton and Jeremy Ortiz are the 2 veterans on this team. Here's Boughton walking it in on one defender. Now a little give and go, and kicked away by Solario. Then a long drive up and over the glass. That off the foot of Loncao. And a timeout on the field. Timeout with 7:50 left to play here in the first. Let's check in with Steve Serrano.
Let's send over to Mix 93's Steve Serrano, who's about to reward one lucky Comets fan with a pretty incredible seat upgrade.
Nate, you're 100% correct. Who wants to see the game from a whole lot better of a seat? And we're talking about right between the two benches. Right now, this is your opportunity for the seat upgrade. We make it super easy. All you got to do is pay attention right now to the video screen, and hopefully your seat, your row, will land on it so you can get on up. Let's see what we got. Moving on up. Section 120, row N, seat number 6. Section 120, row N, seat 6. If that's your seat, congratulations. You're moving on up. At the end of this courting meet, it's right over here between section 103. We'll escort you to your seat, and they're going to be seeing the game a whole lot better. Nate, back to you.
Thank you, Steve. Moving on down next to the field.
7:50 left to play in the first quarter here on MASL TV. It's the Comets hosting the Rochester Lancers. We'd like to say hello and greetings to all of those of you in Rochester, New York watching, or maybe wherever across the United States. We've got some sunny skies and temperatures in the upper 30s here in the Kansas City area with some melting snow that's on the ground. Wonder how much snow they've had up in Rochester this year. Probably more than us, I would think.
Probably more. I'd like to give a shout out to Michael Lewis, who is soccer writer on Twitter. He did a great feature on Comets players. January? Yeah. Covers all sorts of local, college, pro soccer. New York has been doing it for years. He and I had an opportunity to chat on the phone for that article. And we were telling old Steve Jungle era indoor soccer stories. So hope he's watching the game.
Rochester holding it behind their defensive yellow line. Ortiz kicks it long. Plays it up to a teammate, Siliberto. Changes for both teams. Neto on over to Berto. Berto looking for a player to pass it to. Rolls it ahead to Ray Lee. Ray Lee thought about it for a moment. Instead passes it over to Ellis. Kansas City 5-6. A victory here would get them back to 500, and they would climb over St. Louis up a spot in the Eastern Division standings. Rochester 0-10. They have a goal differential of -82.
It's always good to have Brian Budzinski here in our box, and he wanted me to pass along a message about a very important Rochester Lancer who was unable to make the trip. That's Soccer Sam Vantuzzo. Brian Budzinski and the entire Comets organization is wishing Sam all the best as he heals up. We can't wait until March 7th when the team plays in Rochester and can enjoy some of that famous Salvatore's pizza. We see the logos front and center on the Lancers uniforms.
And of course, Soccer Sam hosts Kick This every week, so that's a great way to know what's happening around the MASL. And if you're curious, it's every Saturday at 11 o'clock on iHeartRadio, so check it out when you can. 5:51 left to play in the first. Comets with a 2-1 lead over the Rochester Lancers. Rochester kicks it up towards the half line. Neto, then over to Lewis. Lewis plays it ahead to Nacho, who's got some space. Here's Nacho down the right line. He shoots, and a save made by Morel. A rebound by Nacho. Couldn't gather it or put a boot on it. Kansas City trying to win the ball, but good hustle by Nacho there. He helped to get back to his teammates. Nacho goes off, and Resari comes back on.
You think his coach was saying, I could have had a hat trick. Why didn't you pass it to me?
Here's Resari. Now Lee to Lewis. Lewis to Sari. Now Gibson. Leo into the corner, looking for Ray Lee. Kicked away. Leo takes a shot, trying to get the hat trick. That one wide to the left. Battling in the corner there is Robert Kelly, and he is chopped down by a Lancer. And the Comets will have a restart here deep in Lancer territory.
John Sosa hustling to take this.
Sosa comes on. Up to Ellis, who shoots. Save Morera. And that one out of bounds, so it'll stay near the same spot. It'll be in the left wing corner. Corner kick coming up to KC.
So saying before, Milwaukee worked on their set pieces. I think you'll see a lot of the Comets working on this too.
Into the middle, shot by Ray Lee, just above the crossbar.
He was wide open, Nick.
Sosa threaded the needle there, and perfect pass to Ray Lee, and he got under it just a little bit. Sandovari, near side Nacho. Forward to Leo. Leo over the top of the defense. Headed in there by Gibson. Correction by Ellis. And a whistle and a foul called against Kansas City. Nacho in there. He got tangled up with Morera.
Great goalkeeping. Morera came in strong. Dangerous head ball, which you don't often see in the arena game.
Morera winds up and throws it long. Picked up there by Ortiz. A shot and a goal! Another goal, not by Ortiz, but by number 27, Diego Mayanga. Mayanga with his third tally of the year.
Take a look at the replay here, Nick. Good run through past Stokic, went underneath, off the right post. And this seems to be a trend. We noticed that with Alex Bradley shooting across Neto's body, scored 2 goals like that last game. This didn't have the same amount of power, but it was in the right direction. And so I don't know if people watching the tape or whether he said, hey, that corner's open.
Yep.
But we need to keep an eye on that. That seems to be a new trend here with Neto in goal.
Silberto comes up with the assist. That is his first assist of the year. Game tied at 2. In the corner, Gibson battling with 2 Lancer players. It squirts out to Nacho. Then Nacho to Kelly. Kelly fires from long range. Rebound comes almost right back to him, but Nacho picks it up over to Berto. To Gibson in the corner. Leo over to Berto making a run in. Robert tracks back. Kicks it all the way back to Neto. 3.5 to play in the first. 2-2 our score. Solario. Sorry. Back to Hector. Now Sorry. Right side Berto. You can see how Rochester packing it in behind their defensive yellow line. Here's Berto moving to his right. Fires a shot in there, bouncing in there. Morera down on both knees. Scoops it up and got it for Rochester. And he held on to it too long, 4 seconds, and that's going to give the Comets back the ball back right at the top of the arc. Mistake there by the Lancers.
You don't see that a lot either.
No, you don't.
And part of it, they've been changing goalkeepers, and I get that, but ultimately the rules are the rules. And so John Sosa once again lines up. He's got his coach sitting on a hat trick.
Sosa to the corner. Shot, goal! That is Nacho. What a goal by Nacho. An impossible angle. It's 3-2.
Take a look at it. Sosa, we know, is the set piece specialist for the Comets. Went past Coach Gibson, found Nacho in the deep left corner, top shelf. Good for Nacho. He's been playing well this season, Nick.
For Nacho, that is just his 3rd goal on the year to go along with 6 assists. But boy, has he played great on both sides of the ball this year. Nacho in his 4th year with Kansas City. He tallies his 3rd. Comets regain the lead, 3-2. .240 left to play in the first quarter. Long ball headed into the corner. Ellis comes out with it, plays it forward to Gibson. Now Gibson for Adam James on the far side. Rebounds off the boards and all the way in there. Ellis took a swipe at it. Got tangled up. Boy, that looked like it might have hurt. Ellis is shaken up a little bit on the play. Kevin Ellis in his 4th game of the season. His first game didn't go so well. His second game, he exploded for 5 goals. And then in the last game that he played, he scored 2, including the game winner against Milwaukee. Oh, big
swing and a
collision
miss.
there. Yeah.
Was teeing up for a powerful shot, simply missed the ball.
Intercepted there by Matt Lewis. Lewis coming in, slides it off, shot, and a goal! Gibson's now got the hat trick. Matt Lewis the assist. Comets lead 4-2.
How often do you get a chance to do something like that for your boss every day, Nick? Lewis anticipated, got the ball, sees his coach. Goalkeeper had to come out, just calmly put it in. I guarantee you this, Coach Doug Miller does not want his Lancers playing a back and forth game like this. They cannot afford to be countered. They got to keep their shape, keep the game close. If they're going to let the Comets run 2v1, 3v1, they're going to have problems all afternoon. And I think on the one that Ellis almost scored on in this one, odd man rushes for the Comets. So I think that back to basics here.
Lewis, a good job there. Had to made the goalkeeper commit, and once the goalkeeper committed, just easily slid it over to Leo, and Leo tapped it in for his 19th on the year. Lewis comes out with his 4th assist, and the Comets with a 2-goal lead now. Their biggest of the game so far, and we're still in the first. Crawford with the ball, leaves it for Boughton. And the near side for Rafa. Forward it goes into Harling. Crawford and Harling around the ball. Comets poke it away, but first a foul called on Rochester. Kansas City will be back at home in February. This is their last game in January. They'll be back in action on February 6th when they host the Harrisburg Heat. It's a Thursday night game at 7:05.
And where do they go 2 days after that, Nick?
They go back to Milwaukee on Saturday. Be a nice one to win. Milwaukee's got some goalkeeping problems. They didn't have Rafa the other night.
Yeah, so he had concussion protocol. So if you recall the Martin Luther King Day game up there, he left after halftime.
Yep.
And they didn't announce why. He just was gone. And so they went to 3rd goalkeeper and 4th goalkeeper in last night's game. They pulled up a goalkeeper from Muskegon and the M2 to finish up the game. And obviously they want Rafa to get better soon. They're going to need him.
30 seconds left to play in the first quarter. Sandovari touched it and knocked it right into the referee's crease. Meanwhile, Rochester, they have one more game in January. They'll be hosting Baltimore on Friday, the 31st. That game at 7 Eastern. And then the next night, they'll host the St. Louis Ambush at 7 Eastern on Saturday, February 1st. Popped into the corner. Ray Sari is there battling as the horn sounds, and that's it for the first quarter. Kansas City racks up 4 goals, 3 by Gibson and 1 by Nacho, and they lead it by a score of 4-2 over the Rochester Lancers. We'll take a break. We'll have second quarter action straight ahead on MASL TV.
18 in our Domino's Defender Suite. Take it away, Steve.
Thank you, Nate. And Comets fans, Domino's of Kansas City have once again graciously donated their suite this season to honor the men and women who defend our country at each home game. The Comets and Domino's recognize local veterans for their service. Today we welcome Carlos Riviera to the Domino's Defender Suites. Sergeant First Class Riviera served 20 years in the United States Army as a corrections non-commissioned officer. He served several tours overseas, which included tours in Afghanistan in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. Sergeant First Class Riviera has 4 children ages 10 to 20 years old and currently owns his own barbershop called Straight Edge Barbershop in Leavenworth, Kansas, and is an active member of his community. Comets fans, one more time, a big round of applause and a big thank you to Carlos.
Fred, did you remember to set out the trash?
Oh, I forgot, but I'll get it.
And I'm sure you remembered that tomorrow's our anniversary, right?
Sure I did, honey.
Oh, did you remember to notify Missouri 1 call to have the underground utilities marked?
Ah, I forgot. But I need to do that before we get started.
Fred, there are some things in this world you should never forget, and that's one of them.
You're right.
At Domino's, a delivery gone wrong doesn't just hurt your pizza night.
It hurts our pride. We're going to be expediting this order.
It could be a missing dipping sauce. It could be a wrong topping. It arrives cold.
With Domino's new delivery insurance, if your delivery isn't what you expected, make a claim, and we'll make it right.
I noticed you had an issue with your last delivery.
To make up for it, I brought you a medium pizza.
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're welcome. Get 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas delivered for $5.99 each.
And put our delivery insurance to the test.
All right, Eric Bergrud and Nick Vassos live on MASL TV with the Comets and Lancers playing at Silverstein Ice Center's arena. Comets wearing their white uniforms at home tonight. And there is the Comets head coach and leading scorer, Leo Gibson, who now has 34 points. And he just continues to rack up the points. He's a scoring machine. The great Leo Gibson just keeps on keeping on.
3 already. He sees what Ian Bennett's doing and saying, anything you can do, I can do better, I guess.
It's like a fine wine, I'm telling you. It gets better with age. 15 minutes on the clock, and the keepers switch ends.
And they've switched. They haven't switched goalkeepers. I'm going to watch at halftime because they switched goalkeepers at halftime yesterday.
Yeah.
I'm going to be curious to see if they try that again.
So same goalkeeper in there. And we were just chatting with Jeff Husted. Marcelo Moreira, he used to play in the MISL, and I thought to myself, MISL 3, I guess. So he's got to be somewhere in his 40s then,
Early
right?
40s, yeah, right. So they've changed the rule. Back when he played, it was a 5-second count before he get rid of the ball. And
right.
when the referee flagged him for going over 4 seconds, he held up a 5. Great vision there by Jeff Husted from the league office.
And then in the original days, I guess it was 6 seconds back in the way back in the day.
Here they counter.
Here they come. Here's Mayanga coming out on the break. Leaves it out left. Ortiz with a shot. Save. Neto. And Berto clears it out for the Comets. Good job there by Berto and Neto, especially there on that latest rush. 4-2 Kansas City over Rochester. Ortiz freezes the ball against the boards in front of the Comets bench. And our referee, Brian Martin, will drop the ball near midfield.
Good pass there from Gibson.
Ellis fires, and oh boy, that was close. Just above the crossbar, and it comes off and out of bounds. What a rocket by Ellis.
Rochester in the first half last night, they counterattacked, I thought, fairly well. 4 guys up, 3 guys up, and we'll look to see if they try to score a goal here, poach a goal here from the Comets on these odd man breaks.
Moreira, forward. Battling in there. Silberto. Comets come out with it, though. Berto plays it long for Leo. A little bit over his head. Now Nacho with the volley, and then Nacho gets tangled up. And Nacho either he banged knees, maybe. Let's hope that it's not a soft tissue injury, but he is smarting there on the turf.
Lancers found number 23 Ortiz his first of the half.
Great to see Nacho.
Yeah, went for the acrobatic shot.
Yeah. Glad he's okay.
And John Sosa once again. See what he has in mind.
So Nacho stays in. Sosa tried to go around the wall. Rebound comes off to Ellis, and he'll play it all the way back to Neto. Sosa goes off, so does Ellis. Lewis comes back on along with Guy Gomez. Now Ray Lee on the right side. Ray Lee double teamed by a pair of blue jerseys. They try to kick it away. Rigger is over there. Now Gibson digging in along with Gomez. It comes out to Flores. Nacho near side for Lewis. Comets working around the perimeter with a 2-goal lead and 13 minutes on the first half clock. A long drive by Gomez. That one blocked by Ortiz. Kansas City coming into this game with a differential of +7. Record of 5-6. Comets, to Gomez, who tried to hit it on the volley with his knee, and it goes over the crossbar.
That was a great ball in from Coach Gibson.
I don't see a lot of other players going over the top of the defense like Leo Gibson does on a regular basis. Ray Lee sticking one of those long tree trunks of legs out there. He's got it back. Nacho with a give and go, and boy, Ray Lee got taken down by Ortiz. No call. Both teams play on. Harling on over to Boughton. Correction, that's Rosano. Rosano into Crawford. Now over to Longcow. Longcow down to Crawford. On back to Harling. On comes Gary Boughton.
And they're going to learn to play this sooner. They had the man advantage, and they pulled the ball back out. I think it just takes time. Something that Coach Miller said, some of these guys have only played 10 games of indoor in their lives, basically. And so something we hear from the Comets, Brian Budzinski, it takes up to 3 years to really learn the arena game. And so these guys are going to need some seasoning. But maybe the core is there for Rochester a few years down the road.
I tell you what will be interesting. Here's a drive by Crawford, and that one partially blocked by Lewis. What will be interesting is that when we went over there, it looked like Doug Miller could still play.
I can tell you, he's in a lot better shape than I am. I'm not going to say anything about you, Nick Vassos, but he looked like he could play.
And there's a likelihood that he will play before the year is over with. He told us so down there on the sidelines. He's 51 years old, and he might be lacing him up for a few games this year.
They need somebody who can score goals. He can score goals. Add 2 + 2. What does that get you?
Doug Miller right there. He scored. He was the first pick by the Comets in the 1991 MISL draft. He spent time in Cleveland, where he won 2 titles there in '94 and '96. And he in the '98 season, he was the league's MVP and an All-Star for the Buffalo Blizzard, where he scored 102 goals. And of course, he's a Rochester Rhinos Hall of Fame. He's like Mr. Rochester there.
I actually got a Buffalo Blizzard reference. One of my colleagues at Park University is a huge Buffalo guy. His name is Matt Harris, and he saw my Doug Miller reference. And he's like, I loved him when he played for the Blizzard.
I remember those games. They played at Marine Midland Arena where the Sabres played. That was a really good market. A lot of fun. They were a good team. They had the Pikazinski brothers back in the day.
They had Tony Miola one year, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Yep. Gibson with a drive. Look out, folks. That one up and over the glass, out of bounds. Goalkeeper distribution for Morera and Rochester Lancers. 4-2. Kansas City on top. No scoring so far here in the second. Morrell winds up and lets it rip right down Main Street. Headed all the way back to Neto. Comets will build it out of the back. Robert Kelly with the distribution from Neto. Slows it down, and with under 10 to play in the first half, Berto walks it across the half line. Right side for Kelly. Kelly darts in, shoots, and that one off the glass above the crossbar, rebounding to Solario. Solario's drive goes off of a Lancer. And then taken down, Solario guilty of the foul.
Got a question on Twitter. I'm going to go try to get the answer to this question. This is from Jack Frizz. Jack, sit tight. I saw your tweet. I'll catch the answer at a break.
Forward it comes to Stokic. Stokic still going. He shoots, and that one saved by Morera. Well, we have a second here. You've got our interest now. We want to know what the question is.
So here's the question. Is it true that we're losing Ray Lee, Lewis, and Sari in mid-February when they go back to their USL teams? I'm going to try to get an answer.
So Ray Lee, Sari, and who else?
And Lewis, Matt Lewis.
And Matt Lewis. Okay.
Let me see if I can find you an answer.
We'll find out and report back. And that's mid-February, huh?
Yeah, we'll find out.
Okay. Long ball from Morera. Battle for it. Right on the referee's crease. Gibson comes out with it. He's got Guy Gomez on the right. He's got the ball now. Guy. Eventually back to Nacho, near side Ray Lee. Over to Gibson. Goes out of bounds, and that one goes off of Rochester. So KC will have it. 8:49 left to play. Nacho running up on it, shoots. Save made by Morera. Pretty easy save there. Throwing down the right side. Matt Lewis rises up like a fish out of water and heads the ball out of bounds. Here come the Lancers. Mayenga, he has one of the 2 goals scored by Rochester. Mayenga and Boughton have the 2 goals for the Lancers. Here's Rosano battling with Lee and Nacho. Rosano double team. And now picked up by another Lancer. Shot in there, blocked by the Comets.
Good team defense in front of Neto.
Long drive by Ortiz, wide left. Rebound stays with Rochester. Here comes some high pressure from KC. Here's Gary Boughton now with it. Runs it across the half line, puts on the brakes, sets up the offense. 7.5 to play in the first half. Kansas City out shooting Rochester, 10-3. Into the corner, and a foul is called on Matt D'Amico. Again, most of these players here on this Rochester side are from the Rochester area or in the New York area. Sosa to Sari. Back to John Sosa. Gibson out there. Floats it to Sandovari, who heads it on target, but easily picked up there by Morera and then laid off for Ortiz. Ortiz tracks it across the line. Ortiz still going forward. Heels it back to his teammate, Silberto, and a foul called on the Comets first.
Nick, you had mentioned Leo Gibson finding passes in the air. I think this is a strategy with so many guys back on Rochester. They're looking for back post runs. They're looking for headers. That's a good ball.
Oh, ding dong off the post. Ortiz with a long drive, and it caught the post flush. Thought it was going to rattle in, but stayed out.
And Nato was beat on that one. That was really well placed, just not perfectly placed.
Comets dodged some trouble there. Gibson, their head coach, trots it across the line. Today he's getting help on the bench from Alan Matingu, the former defender for the Comets, taking a year off. Sosa to Gibson. Gibson off the boards. Morera still pinging around. Kansas City cannot pounce on the rebound, but they do maintain possession. Sosa. Leading pass to Sandovari. Winds up and cracks that one wide. Now James, no good. Rebound shot, goal! Gibson hit it with his left foot. Gibson has 4 on the afternoon, and the Comets lead 5-2.
We'll take a look. Everybody was shooting high. Sandovari tried to go high. James gets blocked. Gibson says, I'll just shoot low. Thank you. We're up 5-2. I've got 4 of them, guys. That's how you do it in the arena game.
This goal scored by number 14, his 4th of the game.
Gibson now has 20 on the season. And if memory serves me correctly, James will get the assist. Leo Gibson set the scoring record, the all-time single-game scoring record, at 16 points. If I'm not mistaken, he had something like 8 goals and 8 assists, or was it 9 goals and 7 assists? I'm not sure. It was something like that, but I believe it came at home against the Rochester Lancers.
That's crazy. That's crazy. If you're trying to, I thought where you were going with this is what do we see this afternoon? So last night's game was 6-3 at one point, and then Milwaukee went 9 goals in, 9 goals deep. I can't imagine, they've got to be tired. I would expect that they're going to try to stay compact and stay back. I don't think they want to give up 15 goals in 2 matches. That would be a very painful weekend exercise.
A short turnaround, no doubt, having played last night and then the travel and then here for a 3:05 game is brutal. And you and I were talking, I wonder what the second game of the 2-game matchup over the weekend, if you do a Friday, Saturday, or Saturday, Sunday, that second game is just tough.
We'll have to check with Jeff Houston on the league stats on that, but I can tell you that at least what I've been watching, I don't recall anybody. Monterey maybe, just Monterey's been that good, but everybody seems to be struggling in that second match. The Comets went down to Texas, won the first game against the harder team, against Mesquite, and then just Dallas was too much for them that second game.
5 minutes and 36 seconds left to play in the first half. Kansas City 5-2 over Rochester. Rochester trying to clear it out of their defensive third. Berto with a touch, plays it back to his keeper Neto. And Neto didn't want to do it, but his left footer goes into the stands, and that'll give Rochester a chance at the top of the arc. There's Neto making his 3rd start. Trying to get the wall set in front of him. Restart. Out wide, shot.
I have an update on that question from Jack Frizz2 on Twitter, who asks, is it true we are losing Ray Lee, Lewis, and Sari in mid-February when they go back to their USL teams? Nobody is for sure. The likeliest, and even that's not 100% sure, would be Sari, but there's nothing set in stone for all 3 guys. And of course, we're going to watch that because all 3 have been difference makers for the Comets this season.
Yeah, that would be big. That would be big news for the Comets. 1 or 3 can't be there after mid-February. So thank you for getting to the bottom of that. Well done.
We do try to pay attention to what we see on Twitter.
Kansas City winning the ball back in their offensive third. But they lost it right back to Rochester. And now the Lancers get it up to Crawford. Crawford chests the ball forward into the corner. Neto off his line to kick it back up, held in by the Lancers. Moving to his right and shooting is Rosano. That one deflected away, kicked back towards the half line. First to whistle and a foul called against the Comets. Looks like that one's going to go against Guy Gomez.
Foul number 27, his first of the half.
Kansas City has scored 3 straight since the Lancers tied it back in the first quarter at 2. Rafa on back to Ortiz. Now Morera. Forward and pushed from behind is Gomez. He'll be called for his second foul. That one on Reger. Daniel Reger. Both teams trading possession in the midfield area. Eventually on back towards the Comets. Berto to Neto. Neto's pass goes under the foot of Ellis and then rolls towards Rochester's side of the field. Gibson is there. One Ortiz digs it out of the boards. He runs into Ellis, comes back to Gibson. Now Gibson sweeps it forward to Ellis, who shoots to the near side, no good. And then touched by Berto before it goes out of bounds. Rochester will have it.
Saw Hector Solorio on that last shift, and we keep wondering when will be the day he scores his inaugural goal here in front of his father, family, and friends.
Here's Matt Lewis down the right side. Lewis, one of those carpet monsters, reached up and tackled him. Now Lee, forward to Gibson. Leo to James. Adam James to Lewis. Oh, just wide. Oh.
That was 2 great passes and a little bit behind Lewis, but that would have been a sensational goal if that had gone in.
Good teamwork there by the Comets, just a little bit off. Kansas City, right off of Ellis's head. Boy, the Comets are doing really good about winning the ball back. Rochester will play back to Morero, trailing by 3. 2 minutes and 22 seconds left to play in the first half. Rolls around the boards and Neto's got it, and then Neto. Boy, you're always concerned when you have a tall, towering keeper like Neto. He's shaking up a little bit. That left leg of his, I don't know if it's a calf. Meanwhile, James down the right side, slides one across, and then again a second shot. That one blocked by Boughton. James popped it into the air. Mayanga of the Lancers gets it forward. Ahead it comes to Wolanski. Wolanski goes far post and then knocked away by the Comets. That was Robert Kelly, and a penalty is coming up against Rochester, and that one may go against Wolanski.
And kudos to Robert Kelly. He was in full sprint, saw a back post run, got back, broke up that play, which ultimately led to the confrontation in the corner, and 2 minutes against Rochester.
2 minutes for boarding against Wolanski. Stokic is still down, and the head trainer for the Comets, Sean Demures, is headed out there to check on Stefan Stokic, who went into the boards hard. Looks like he's holding his left arm or left elbow.
Take a look at the replay here. Stokic went in to try to use his body, a one-hand push.
Oh, looks
like
he
hurt.
Yeah, that might have been a rib.
Part of the challenge, we saw it over on this side of the field in a previous sequence. You'll see players, and Coach Gibson tried to do this. You try to get leverage against your opponent, nudge him in, and I think that was just a little too much leverage, which put Stefan into the boards. We definitely hope he's okay.
Stefan Stokic, 10-year 10 years as a member of the Comets, and then his career goes even further back into the NPSL days here in Kansas City.
This does not look good. We are bringing out a wheelchair, it looks like, Nick.
Well, now this would be a big loss for the Comets. Sosa is one of their all-time best defenders, and this year's no exception. He's got 16 blocks.
This looks like his arm?
In 10 games.
Yeah, it looks like his left arm. Well, good news is...
Maybe a shoulder separation, maybe? Like I'm going to throw a dart up here. Yes, exactly.
Diagnosed. Good news is the EMT and the wheelchair
cart not needed.
Yep, that's good news. Hard to tell, but he is in definite some discomfort there.
Recent article that I read that included Vlatko Andonovski when talking about this team. You remember what he said? Of the two players that he needed to have most on the team, one of them was
Stefan Stokic, that's for sure.
The other being John Sosa.
Well, there's so much that Stokic does that he doesn't get a lot of credit for. It's not the glamorous stuff. He's defensive runner for Leo Gibson.
Yep.
He blocks shots. He throws his body out there. He gives it all for his team.
And while Sosa is such a good defender, what a lot of people or those who don't follow the game closely might overlook is John's ability, one, off the restarts, and number two, building the team's offensive out of the back and getting things moving and getting things forward. John is such an integral part of that process. Here's Gibson, and the Comets are on the power play. Nacho back to Leo, front and center Sosa. 1 minute, 5 seconds left. Here is Nacho with a drive. That one's saved by Morera. Under a minute to play now. And 1 minute and 18 seconds on the power play for the Comets. Ray Lee to Ellis. Over to Gibson on the volley. Rebound, goal!
He's going to get a fifth right there.
Power play goal. Did it go off Nacho, or was that Leo all the way?
It went off Lancer's defender. We'll double check this, but I'm pretty sure Gibson will get credit for his fifth goal. We'll take a look. So Gibson shot wide. You'll see here in a second. A typical arena goal off the defender, off the back of the foot.
Oh my gosh.
Fifth goal for Gibson.
Gibson, a five-bagger, and we're not even at halftime yet. 6-2. There'll be no assist on that since it's an own goal, but wow, Leo Gibson, 5 goals in the first half. Unbelievable.
We talked about Kevin Ellis when he had 5 goals, trying to lock up that MASL Player of the Week. We'll see if Leo Gibson has something in mind here the rest of this match.
33 seconds left. Both teams back to full strength. And a forward, it comes to Sari. To Gibson. Correction to Berto, and then over to Sari. And Sari bangs it long. Up and over the glass. There's Ray Sari, Kansas City product. This is his 10th game as a member of the Comet this year. He's got 4 goals and 5 assists for Ray Sari. Here's Rochester with a drive. That one just wide to the right. And that one coming off the foot of Anthony Rosano. He can play. He's been in the middle of a lot of the scoring chances for Rochester this afternoon. Horn sounds, and that's it. Halftime's here. Halftime is here. Kansas City. After the game was tied at 2, the Comets went on a 4-goal scoring spree, and Gibson gets 3 of them. He has 5 in all in the half, and the Comets lead it 6-2. We'll see if we'll get a chance. All right. Serrano is down on the field now, and we'll see who we get a chance to talk with. We've been visiting with Alan Mayer at halftime. You can see Stokic. He's still walking off the field under his own power. Yeah, we're standing by. We're going to hear from Comets goalkeeper coach Alan Mayer. He is scurrying over to talk to Steve Serrano. And let's go to them now.
Half off to a hot start for you guys.
Well, Rochester, they came out and played very, very well in the beginning, and they've had a long trip here, and hopefully, the legs will get a little tired on them, and we just need to keep the pressure on, play our game. We've been changing in threes all the time, so we'll just have to keep going and just go from there.
Anything specific, do you think, to help you guys in the second half to get some more points up?
Well, no, we just have to stay within our game. Players got to play. It's an individual battle. It's the forward against the defense guy. So we just need to continue to do what we're doing because we're having some pretty good success scoring, and maybe Leo can get a few more goals for us.
There you go. Coach, best of luck in the second half.
Thank you, buddy.
Nate, back over to you guys.
Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Steve.
All right. There is Alan Mayer with our Steve Serrano. Comets with a 6-2 lead here at halftime. Let's take a break. We'll go back with more here from Silverstein Ice Center's Arena.
Fred, did you remember to set out the trash?
I forgot, but I'll get it.
And I'm sure you remembered that tomorrow's our anniversary, right?
Sure I did, honey.
Oh, did you remember to notify Missouri 1 call to have the underground utilities marked?
I forgot. But I need to do that before we get started.
Fred, there are some things in this world you should never forget. And that's one of them.
You're right.
At Domino's, a delivery gone wrong doesn't just hurt your pizza night.
It hurts our pride. We're going to be expediting this order.
It could be a missing dipping sauce. It could be a wrong topping. It arrives cold.
With Domino's new delivery insurance, if your delivery isn't what you expected, make a claim, and we'll make it right.
I noticed you had an issue with your last delivery.
To make up for it, I brought you a medium pizza.
Oh my gosh, you're welcome. Get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas delivered for $5.99 each.
And put our delivery insurance to the test.
For food, good luck to you. It's a couple good tosses already. I feel like we're going to get lucky this Sunday here. We're going to get lucky. Harvesters fling for food. Nate, it almost looks like there's one in there. There might be one in there, Nate.
It almost appears as there is because there is, Steve. We already have a winner.
We can have more than one winner, Nate. Come on. Don't discourage these guys. All right, Comet, one more time around. One more time around. It looks like a green harvester ball. Hopefully you have a green harvester ball, because if so, you could be $100 richer with our Harvesters Fling for Food. All right, Comet, come on back. Oh, we got 2, Nate. We got 2.
Oh, you got a lucky fan in section 114. Toss that second one in.
We got a green one and a pink one. Lucky number 374. 374. If you can get that one, congratulations, Harvesters Fling for Food. And also number, it's a pink ball here, 184. 184. Congratulations. If either one of those are your Harvester balls, you won big with Harvesters Fling for Food. Make sure you guys meet us just outside the concourse of section 103 to redeem your cash. Harvesters Fling for Food. We got 2 winners.
Congratulations, all our winners, and thanks again for all of
Halftime here in Kansas City alongside Eric Berger and I'm Nick Vassos. Comets lead it over the Rochester Lancers by a score of 6-2. Let's take a look at some of the first half highlights. And it was Rochester, surprisingly, who got off to the initial start here. And as we see here, Rochester scores first here, and they did it on the rebound. The veteran, Gary Boughton. That was a power play goal, and that gave Rochester a 1-0 lead. Well, Leo Gibson decided to take the things into his own hand. That was the tie at 1, and then this is the shootout here. They gave the Comets their first lead in the game. Gibson with his 18th of the year, and then Rochester would answer back. Mayunga with his 3rd of the year to make the score 2-0. This is the point when Kansas City would take over. Nacho Flores with an amazing goal there in that corner, and then Leo Gibson would score 3 straight.
Lewis looks up, sees his coach. Coach says, "Thank you very much, young man." And he's thinking, oh, Kevin Ellis had 5 goals earlier this year. How many more do I need? Here's number 4, shot low, nothing that the Rochester defense can do. And then sometimes the ball bounces in interesting ways in arena soccer. So he shoots wide, and we've seen this before, off a defender's leg. That's goal number 5 for Coach Leo Gibson.
Wow, 5 for Leo the Great. We will take a break, and when we come back, our halftime show will continue here on MASL TV.
Fred, did you remember to set out the trash?
Oh, I forgot, but I'll get it.
And I'm sure you remembered that tomorrow's our anniversary, right?
Sure I did, honey.
Oh, did you remember to notify Missouri 1 call to have the underground utilities marked?
Ah, I forgot. But I need to do that before we get started.
Fred, there are some things in this world you should never forget, and that's one of them.
You're right.
At Domino's, a delivery gone wrong doesn't just hurt your pizza night.
It hurts our pride. We're going to be expediting this order.
It could be a missing dipping sauce. It could be a wrong topping. It arrives cold.
With Domino's new delivery insurance, if your delivery isn't what you expected, make a claim, and we'll make it right.
I noticed you had an issue with your last delivery.
To make up for it, I brought you a medium pizza.
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're welcome. Get 2 medium, 2-topping pizzas delivered for $5.99 each.
And put our delivery insurance to the test.
That's your younger brother right there. All right. All right, so you got to do better than him then. Are you ready? You guys got matching shoes, though, at least. You got that going for you. Hey! All right. You ready for this?
Probably not.
All right. They're getting better as we get closer. You want that ball? You have boots on. Everybody else has slippers. You have boots. It's all right. Let's do this. Woo. And then we go to the guy that's good, right? There's no pressure that they said that you're the best one here, right?
Yeah.
Let's make some noise right here. He's going to put it in. Now, I will tell you, we've done this before. It's a kick for a car. Nobody even got close. So imagine this is for the car, but you'd be a little bit farther back. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this. Here we go. Make some noise, Comets fans. We're feeling it right now. Oh! That's got to count for something, right, Scott? Come on. That's the first time we've ever knocked it down. Let's hear it for all 5 of our contestants for helping us out. Woo! They weren't lying, Nate. He was the best one. That's for sure.
Thank you, Steve. Quite the prize pack. All those season tickets. Quality Plumbing is the official plumber of the Comets, providing 24/7 residential, commercial, and industrial services since 1983. Quality Plumbing can take care of all your plumbing needs. Visit them on the web at qualityplumbing.com. Comets would like to say thank you to all the groups and special guests in attendance tonight. Welcome to Sporting Missouri Valley Intensity. Welcome to the Neverland Ranch Hands. Welcome to Sporting Missouri Valley Fusion. Welcome to Kit and Crew from the 403 Club at KCK. We got some birthdays in the house today. Happy 10th birthday to Bennett De La Torre. Happy birthday, Bennett. Happy birthday to Ramon Palmer. Happy birthday to Parker and Mia Katamura. Happy birthday to Comets Communications Director Pat Clifton. Happy birthday to Isaac Schaefer, turning 9. And happy birthday to Lone Jack coach Brian Davenport. Happy birthday, Coach. If you need to get a birthday gift and you forgot to buy it, might I suggest you go by and enter a free drawing for an autographed Comets team soccer ball. We're going to give it away in the fourth quarter of today's game. You might be signed up by the time the fourth quarter starts. It is out in the concourse behind section 109 and 110. Again, I'd like to invite you to log into Facebook and join Comets Nation. Comets Nation, or Facebook fan groups online. They organize watch parties for all of our Comets away games. You know, as many games they play here, we play on the road. You want to watch it with some like-minded Comets fans, they go to Lou's Bar and Grill. You can check out the schedule on Facebook. Comets Nation, the group. Watch all those games on masl.tv. You can even watch home games if you're stuck at the office, stuck at home, stuck at your kid's soccer game. You can watch masl.tv. The Comets right to your television, your smartphone, your laptop. Anywhere you can get YouTube stream, you can watch all the Comets actions online. Tonight's media meal was provided by Domino's, the official title sponsor of the Comets. All right, turn your attention to Comets Vision for some highlights. Our first half of action, the head coach, Leo Gibson, netting 5 by himself. Some help from his friends in the first half. Just 2 games today in the MASL. Later on.
Welcome back here at halftime. Kansas City with a 6-2 lead over the Rochester Lancers. Alongside Eric Bergerud, I am Nick Vassos. Our Silverstein Ice Center's crew is on board here. Brad Zimmerman, our director, and his talented staff there, giving us all of the sights and sounds here inside of Silverstein Ice Center's arena. Some of the games and how it happened this past weekend, Eric, looking to last night in the MASL. St. Louis got the split this weekend, but they fell to the Trops yesterday, 7-1 down in Florida. San Diego got a split from their East Coast tour this weekend. They dropped to the Blast and they beat the Heat in Harrisburg. And how about Tacoma? Tacoma getting a win and knocking off the Flash.
So I was listening to some commentary about that, and this may sound a little Pollyannish, but it's like, oh, it was probably a good thing for the Flash to lose because now they get it out of their system. I really don't think they went up there intending to lose, so I wouldn't want to play them coming up the next week or two. They're a really talented team. I think everybody in the East is looking at them. What's interesting about this, if you look at the standings, the Comets would be really up in the chase in the West.
Yeah.
Right now, the balance is you have San Diego behind Monterey in the West, and then everybody else in the East. And so right now, the East is where the jockeying is to take place. And the Florida Tropics team, I think they've taken a little bit of heat for playing Orlando a few times, but they went up and beat Milwaukee. They thumped St. Louis. They're a legit team.
Yep. No doubt about it. We're at the halfway point right now, so, these games are going to become even, we're halfway through the season, and these games are really important now, and then they're going to become even more important. So this is going to be, you start kind of ratcheting up the intensity as we get closer here over the next 3-4 weeks.
And what's going to happen later in the season when you find yourself like the Comets playing several of these East Coast 2-game swings is how do you approach that first game versus how do you approach that second game? Do you bring extra guys and hold them out for a game? What do you do? Because ultimately you're going to need to steal a second win in one of those. Definitely need to split those weekends, but trying to steal a second win would be critical.
No question. Rochester with the ball to begin the second half, trailing by 4. Their keeper, Marrero, back out there for the second. Marrera, I should say, back out there for the second start. Giveaway shot. Goal! Giveaway! And Kevin Ellis is on the board. That didn't take long. Just 28 seconds, or 18 seconds in, and the Comets lead 7-2.
I think his Achilles felt okay on that play there, Nick. So good pressure there from Robert Kelly. Lack of communication.
Anticipated it.
Yeah. And you can't attribute everything to changes in players, but changing goalkeepers, players is getting used to each other, and that was a soft pass. Kevin Ellis was in the right place, good anticipation. One of the easier shots he's had in the last month.
No question, his 8th on the year. And again, this is Kevin's 4th game as a member of the Comets. 7-2 our score. Robert Kelly there pressing Gary Boughton. Played back to Marrera. Over to Crawford. Now Marrera. Back to a teammate. Rochester gets it across the half line, and they'll move up their offense.
So it's interesting the Comets went high press, led to a goal, you could argue, already, but maybe Coach Gibson's using this game to experiment a little bit of work on some.
Harling in the corner, double teamed. Berto is in there, ball squirts out, sorry. Able to touch it on over to James, then to Berto, and then back to Ray Lee. Stefan Stokic still being worked on there by the trainer.
What are they putting on his arm?
They might be putting something on there. It looks Stokic might be coming back in. Ball by Marrera, takes a couple of hops, and they get it over to Lewis. Sorry, I'm being distracted here. I'm watching some of the work that's being done on Stokic on the bench right now. Meanwhile, Rochester with the ball, plays up to Boughton, and then Boughton to Ortiz. Ortiz with some room, he shoots, and that one's saved by Neto.
Well, those were the two veterans. Great ball movement there. Ortiz tried to go low. Neto made a good save.
Neto, perfect position there. Nicolau Neto making his 3rd start. He is 1-0 on the year. Ortiz. That one Rosano. Back to Ortiz. Rosano forward to D'Amico. D'Amico pressured by Ellis. The Ball came off, and a shot there off the foot of Loncao, and Neto made the save. Comets will move it out of their last third. Sandovari is there. Comets go for some changes. Guy Gomez goes off, and Nacho comes in for him. Ellis trots it across. Sandovari now on the right side, front and center. Nacho swings it over to Leo. Leo with the ball, darts inside, off the boards. Ball pinballs around and then kicked out. And over there is D'Amico. Played it over to Ortiz. Ortiz looked long, puts on the brakes and plays it back to Morera. Here comes high pressure from the Comets. Another shot, it's loose out front, deflected wide. Boy, another giveaway in their last third. Rochester with a second mistake in the last 2 minutes.
That's also two woulda, coulda had them goals for Matt Lewis, one in each half.
Rochester across the half line. He's got an open player on the far post. Here's Silberto to a teammate, shot saved. Neto. Reger with a drive, and Neto, one of those long legs out there to knock it away.
He won't get credit in the stat sheet, but great defense there by Sandovari. He held. He forced a pass that wasn't going to lead to a high percentage shot. Good for Mirko.
Leo called for the foul. Sosa comes back on. Solario on. Nacho, Leo, and Adam James. Here's Tim Crawford. He has Boughton out there along with Mayunga, Harling, and he has the ball now. Here's Harling. Leaves it for Crawford off the boards. Solario out with the ball for the Comets, then over to Robert Kelly. Back to Nacho. Now Sosa. Surveys the defense, plays it to Nacho. Up the near boards, it comes to Adam James, healing it back for Solario. Kick back to the Comets half. Sosa of Kansas City on over to Nacho. Now Nacho across the line, and the Comets will set it up here on their offensive half. Solario left side. Across the field for James. Nacho goes off, Sari comes on. Comets wait for Sari to join them, off the boards. Mayunga is there along with Harling. Ball still loose. Oh boy,
Hector Solario.
He saw it for a second, and then it was kicked away.
How big did his eyes get there?
Mayunga to a teammate, Ortiz, who shoots and scores! Ortiz.
Good counterattack
His
there.
first on the afternoon. It's 7-3.
Well, they brought the counter to Milwaukee last night, and that's been successful for them today. One Comet defender back, that was Ray Sari, could do nothing with three Lancers defenders, and really nothing that Neto could do there.
Ortiz is fourth on the year. And was that Mayunga who got the assist there, number 27?
I think that was.
His third assist on the season. 7-3 in the third. Kansas City on top. Ray Lee. Over to Berto. Guy Gomez, and then near side it comes to Ellis. Berto. Berto with a drive. That one blocked by Rochester. Headed back in by Berto. Another chance on the volley, saved by Morera. Berto has had a good year. Berto has got 6 goals here, so don't count Berto out of the scoring column for sure. He's not just all defense out there.
I think Coach Miller, he's working on this 5 guys behind the ball counterattack. There will be some games where that's going to be extremely successful. And historically, there's some teams that has been the bread and butter. Play good team defense and then spring. It's just going to be hard against a team like Milwaukee or Kansas City to do that for 60 minutes. But there will be some teams, I think they'll find some success doing that.
That's the defense that Rochester's playing right now. Gibson, right side Nacho. Off the glass, rebound, ding dong! The header goes off the post. Eight and a half to play in the third. 7-3 KC on top of Rochester. Berto forward for Leo Gibson. And yeah, they're going to give it. Leo was pleading for it at the top of the arc, and that's where they're going with it. Now the officials get together to discuss it. What do you?
Leo's arguing the ball was kicked from inside the yellow line.
So that's what they've decided. It will be at the top of the arc. Good call. Sosa behind the ball. Sosa on over to Ellis. Hits it with a left footer. That one no good. Ray Lee is there. His left foot standing by to hammer one. And then kicked away, and Morera pounces on it for the Lancers. Morera throws it long over the head of a teammate. Sosa's there for the Comets to get it up to Lee. Lee's pass back to Leo, a little bit too strong. Leo with a little stop and go there, creating some space to get it over to Sosa. Now Gibson, right down Main Street, trying to get it to Ellis. And then headed back to Morera, flashing in there with Sorry. Ball fought for near the midfield area. Kansas City knocks it away. And we'll play it back to keeper Neto. Comets 7, Rochester 3. Kicked out of bounds. And a timeout on the field. Timeout on the field. Give us an opportunity to remind you that the official MASL podcast is available on MASLsoccer.com, Apple Podcast, and now Spotify and Google Podcasts. Make sure you subscribe today and let us know what you want to hear. Or if you got any questions that you might have, send us a tweet at MASL Arena on Twitter with the hashtag AskTheMASL. I think Jeff Husted and I are going to get together again. We got to get you on the podcast too, Eric.
Hey, you got my phone number?
I get a busy man, but we got to get you there to the podcast.
I'll just be telling stories.
The official, yeah, what's what we like. Story time is good.
That's all good.
So we got the official MASL studio right here in Kansas City. So we'll be sure to put you on the list, Mr. Bergrud.
Appreciate that.
And so I'm going to join Jeff this week here. We're going to talk about all the great games and all the craziness that has happened in the game of arena soccer. There's always something happening. And then this whole dynamic this year of two divisions has just made things, even more compelling, in my opinion.
I think I'm still holding with you're going to need 16 wins to get out of the East. I'm still holding with that. A lot of things can happen. Baltimore and Harrisburg can go back and forth maybe. We'll see, but let's just call it the Far East part of the Eastern. That's where some of the decisions are going to be made. If some of these teams get taken down, because St. Louis, they win one, they lose one. They win one, they lose one. The Comets need to get on a consistent streak because they're going to have to get on the road pretty soon, and they're going to have to figure this out. Milwaukee, I think they're fine. And then who do you have? You've got Florida, which is a good team. You got Utica City is a good team too. And so what are the four coming out? We'll see.
Going to be interesting. That is for sure.
And it's probably too late to petition to move out west at this point of the season. So we'll stick where we are.
Well, that would be kind of interesting if you're playing the likes of Ontario, San Diego, Tacoma. Interesting.
We go historically, the Comets were a Western division. I'm going back to the 80s. They were a Western division team. Of course, the map has changed a lot in the past 30-something years, but.
And the league likes their regional rivalries, and they have worked very well for the Comets. You know, I mean, games have gone against the Comets is what I'm saying, but the rivalries have always been there. St. Louis, Kansas City, Milwaukee. Part of the sentimental part of me would hate to see those go away because they are such an important part of the fabric of the league.
Well, and speaking of rivalries, there's an exhibition coming up at Wichita with the M2 Wings. And wouldn't that be something if the Wings decide to move on up? Look at this goal. He got another off a deflection. That's 6 for Leo Gibson.
A half dozen for the great Leo Gibson.
We'll take a look. I even called it a goal before he shot it. You can just tell it was going in. So good ball movement. Nacho goes long. Leo once again goes wide. Once again off a defender. Once again he gets credit for the goal. Make that 6.
And make that 21 now on the year for Leo Gibson. It's 8-3.
And I've said it earlier, I think as a coach, he wants to see other guys score, particularly defenders. Obviously, the fans want to see him score, and I'm sure there's a piece in him that's like, I could keep going, but to be successful against the Milwaukees and Floridas, you're going to have to find other people because they will hone in on Leo Gibson defensively. So some of these other guys are going to have to keep scoring.
I've got a nice message here from Sam Fantazzo, from the owner and CEO, founder of the Rochester Lancers. He says, Nick, you guys were smooth. Leo was special. Enjoy and thank you. Sam, all the best from all of us, including all the fans here in Kansas City, and thank you for what you do for the MASL.
I know your team is not having the best weekend, but I hope the fans in Rochester come out next weekend to support. They're a bunch of local guys. They are working hard. You can just see how this franchise is going to come together, but it's going to take that community to believe in their hometown guys, and things will be special.
Awesome. All right, with 5:17 left to play in the third, Kansas City leading 8-3. Let's welcome in here Victor Gutwein. Is that right?
That's
Did I do that right?
Yeah, you're one of the few.
Well, with a name like Vassos, you got to practice. You know what I mean? So it's Vassos, Vassos. Hey, right. Victor, great to see you.
Yeah.
And understanding that you are part of the partnership with the Kansas City Comets.
Yep.
What did you decide to become part of the Comets family?
Yeah, that was in 2018. Got hooked up here with Brian, managing owner here, and just kind of fell in love with everything about this. I mean, I was new to the game, so I know soccer, field soccer, and that's interesting, but this is another level, and love another level of excitement, and then also just the specific history with the Comets here has been, it's just been incredible. The level of fans, the excitement, the history, and just some really top-notch leadership too, both from the the coaches and the players, and also Brian himself. So that's kind of all those combinations got us involved.
We're visiting here with Victor Gutwein. He's part of the ownership group here in Kansas City for the Comets. We're just getting a chance to meet you for the first time. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Victor. What kind of businesses are you in right now, and how might that apply to your ownership status here with the Comets?
Yeah, so my professional firm is called M25. We're a early-stage venture capital firm. We're based out of Chicago, but we invest into early-stage technology companies across the Midwest. Now, the Comets was a personal investment, but I actually had a lot of overlap with what I was doing already because we have 3 other investments in Kansas City that are kind of technology startups. So Backstitch, Zor Tires, and Super Dispatch. And so those are our high-growth early-stage technology companies, and it was just a natural overlap where I spent a lot of time in this community and seeing the excitement here for sports, and it just kind of made sense to get involved with the Comets as well.
Matt, I've seen a lot of stories as the Comets make another break here and another goal here. I read a lot of stories about how Kansas City is a great city for entrepreneurship, but they're also a good city for emerging technologies, like your company.
Exactly.
You've seen that for the future of our city, right?
Yeah, it's really a community-wide effort. You have things like the Kaufman Foundation putting a lot of effort behind that here. You do have quite a few investment firms that focus specifically on early stage technology. From the earliest levels there, you have some resources like KC Startup Collaborative and some other nonprofits and efforts there. So it's really remarkable how cohesive this city has made an effort to put entrepreneurship first, and to see, hey, we have some great corporations, some great large companies, but we also want to work on what's the future and where is our growth going to come from as well. And so very serious effort there, and it's impressive, and it takes note of people like me in Chicago that want to invest.
Victor Gutwein is our guest. He is a part of the Comets ownership group. You, Victor, probably understand the idea of branding and how much a brand can be worth here. And the Comets, for our community, have a tremendous brand. And was that one of the things that may have attracted you here?
Well, it's funny. It's like as we were looking at this and talking to people, talking to fans when we came out here and visited prior to getting involved, these people have been going to Comets games. Like, they grew up going to Comets games, right? Like, they had the memories there. We have a group here of kind of the tech community, actually, in our owner suite here. And a lot of them, they haven't been back to a game since they were going earlier. Now they're going to come back some more, right? Because they're like, wow, they're still alive. They're doing great. I remember the Comets. Yeah. And it's just been, that level of excitement and the kind of the nostalgia, the history, that hasn't gone away. People know that Comets logo and that brand.
That Comet logo connects generations. You're seeing on your screen right there.
Yeah, indeed. That's why we got it so big. When Brian and us were thinking, hey, we need to get a really big logo on the field. It's about the brand, right? I mean, that's the team. That's memories are all coming out with that. So, and now I have memories, and we took last time we were down here, took my family here. So it's new generations. A lot of kids in our suite today. So they're going to remember the Comets.
Victor Gutwein is our guest. He is part of the Comets ownership group. Let's talk about the future. A lot of things can happen here. Do you have kind of a general sense about where you would like to see things to go? We're doing well. What's the next step? What do you think?
Well, I think this has been a really interesting year now with Leo, as a coach. And that's, he's still an amazing player.
He's got 6 goals today.
It's just kind of like, it's just incredible to have him on the team. So I think that is interesting. It's helping. There's a lot of team cohesiveness that's happening. There's some new talent that we're building off of. Obviously, league has been having a lot of talk on broadcasting. There's been a lot of issues with visa stuff, so there's some things changing here. That there's both challenges and opportunities across the league, and I think it's just going to. There's going to be a lot of growth in both Kansas City Comets and the league as a whole, and we're excited about that. Now, obviously, we would like to do better. And there's there's a lot of ideas, and I'll leave it to Brian and Leo and some of the other team to really spearhead those. But we've got good players, and we got some new good players. We got some veterans. So this is something you could build a championship team out of. You maybe add a few here and there, but it's definitely got the building blocks.
Well, we are so excited and so happy that you're on board, part of the Comets family. Victor Gutwein, part of the ownership group. Can't thank you enough for being a part of Comets Nation.
Well, thank you.
And it's really great to meet you, and look forward to visiting with you in the future and celebrating all the success for everyone here at the Kansas City Comets.
Of course. Vassos.
Yes. Vassos, you got it. Gutwein, we got it, man. No mistakes that time.
All right.
Victor, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
At the end of 3, the Comets in control by the score of 8-3. We'll take a quick break and come back for our final 15 minutes here on MASL TV.
Please welcome back to the field the Supernovas. Hector's Auto Repair is a proud sponsor of the Comets. For all your vehicles.
All right, at the end of 3, Leo keeps scoring. He's got a half dozen in the game, Eric.
He's shooting from everywhere. I was talking while you were on air interviewing. I had a private conversation with Mr. Budzinski about this. And so what we were discussing is in a game like this with such a young team, it's the wily veteran approach. This approach wouldn't work against other teams that are going to tee on him, where you need to work the ball to Lee or you need to work the ball to, he's not playing today, but a Kyle Williams. But Leo just knows to find the right place at the right time, and so it's just, maybe just don't think so much today. Just give it to your coach.
Yeah, the Comets, without Kyle Williams, without Lucas Rodriguez, Stefan Stokic went out. You can see him there. It looks like he's got an,
he's out.
Yeah, he's got a big ice pack on that left arm hit. Maybe, back of the left arm. But he got banged into the boards, and he's been out for the rest of the game.
The fact that he's still on the bench is a good sign, because if it were much more serious, you would expect to see him in the locker room now.
We've had a music request from one Travis Kelsey. Let's make some noise in here.
All right, 8-3, heading into the final 15 minutes. We'll also try to get you an update on the score in Harrisburg. The Blast are in Harrisburg, battling the Heat. That game kicked off at 4:05 Central Time, so they've been at it for about an hour.
Goal, Rochester.
And Rochester, right off the bat, scores a goal. And it looks like Rafa got the tally for Rochester. 8-4 now.
Let's take a look on the replay.
I'll be honest, I did not. Oh, nice.
Gomez tried to get back, couldn't. Rafa, look at this exclamation point. Yeah, I scored. I think the referees at this point are like, that's great. 8-4. So credit to Rochester. They went up to Milwaukee last night, had a very painful second half, lost 15-3. They've already scored more goals down in Kansas City on the second day than they did the first day up in Milwaukee. So good for them.
Kansas City battling to win the ball back. Here's Ray Sari. He flicks it back for Sandovari. Sandovari to Sari. Sari now changes direction. Cuts through the defenders. Well, good work there by Ray Sari to maintain possession. He will go off, and Nacho Flores will come back on.
So MASL fans who noticed that the Comets lost to the Wave in overtime by 1 on Monday. I'll hold that thought.
Yeah, Nacho's shot there deflected and went right, floated across the goal mouth with all kinds of crazy spinning action on it, but did not go in.
Rochester actually scored a goal like that last night. Unusual thing off the glass. So Kansas City played Milwaukee tough. Milwaukee plays Rochester, 12-goal win. So MASL fans might say, oh, sure, Kansas City should win by 11 or 12. That's not the way it works. You play every single game differently, and you can't just say on paper Kansas City should win by that.
Right. Berto to Nacho. Poked away by Mayanga on the way back to Neto for Kansas City. Forward up to Sandovari. Sandovari fires a shot blocked by Ortiz of the Lancers. Comets hold it in. Adam James to Berto. Berto turns and faces. Down to James, back to Berto. Winds up. Bombasso from beyond the yellow line. Didn't get all of it. Off the boards, running in there. Shot, goal!
That was a good ball from Leo Gibson. I hope we catch the pass on the replay here. Another goal for Berto, but the pass, the turn by Leo was something to see.
We've seen this one before, Eric.
We're going to take a look here. So Berto starts off the play. Leo hustles back to gets the ball. One touch, two touch. Look at that vision. Sees Berto come in, boom. Thank you very much. Great arena soccer goal.
He knew Berto was making that run right down Main Street, and he just banged it off the boards, and the rebound came right to Berto.
And good follow-up here.
It just had to touch it in.
Number 51, MASL Player of the Week, Robert Palmer.
How about Berto?
He was on the team of the week. I voted for him for Player of the Week. I know Alex Bradley won, but that's okay.
14, Leo Gibson, 2 minutes and 8 seconds.
Another point for Leo Gibson there, Nick.
7 on the afternoon.
Speaking of Players of the Week,
Yeah,
potentially.
for sure.
Hector, you know you want to score here.
Come on, Solario. Here's Ray Lee. Thought about it. Now to Leo. And then headed out of bounds. It'll stay with Kansas City, and they'll do a corner kick from the left wing corner. There's Leo Gibson, the MVP of the 15-16 season.
Sosa setting up the play. Once Nacho short side.
He holds the record for points in a single game at 16.
And they're looking at Ray Lee. It's like, no, no, no. See if Gibson back post here.
Sosa over the top. Leo on the volley, drives it in. Blocked by the Lancers. Forward it comes to Crawford. Neto was off his line to get it to Sosa. Popped over there to Leo. Leo tries to settle it on the carpet. Deflected away and picked up by Rochester. Comets fight for it. Win it back. Sorry, now to Leo. Shot. Blocked by Harling. Rebound back to Leo. Looking for Ray Sorry. Now Ray Lee with a drive. That one off the boards. Lewis with a drive. That one wide left. Lee again. Lewis another drive. Another dent in the dashboards. Now Gibson. Lee. Boom off the glass. Lee heads it over for Leo. Lonkow is over there. Lonkow gets it to Harling. Harling touches it, but Kansas City able to take it back. Here's Solario to Lewis. Now Leo into the middle to Sorry. Back out to Solario. Here's Leo again. Leo steps on it. Now to Solario. Now Lewis drives it in almost far, just wide outside the post. Now Leo over the top too. Oh, looking for Lewis, making a run to the far post. Comets battling with Harling, trying to get the ball back. Deflected away. Gary Boughton is back there for the Lancers.
You were talking about tired legs. First half, we were seeing 3 guys on the counterattack. There, 2. It's like, wow. They've had to do so much running and defending for almost 2 full games here. It's expecting a lot of a young team.
9-4, Casey in control. Sosa, Nacho, Guy Gomez, Leo Gibson, and Sandovari. Sandovari over to Nacho. Now Sosa. Sandovari runs up, fires, save made by Morera. Good save there by the keeper from Rochester.
Good power on that shot from Mirko.
Sandovari again!
And
he just drives it past the goalkeeper and hammers it home. It's 10-4.
Mirko's been working hard this season. Hasn't had the goals to show for it. Got one there after a good save on the previous sequence.
Sandovari.
Stokic is feeling well enough to give high fives with his good hand.
Nacho the assist. Sandovari is 3rd on the year.
I think Morera's going to want that one back. He kind of got his arms in no man's land. What do I do with it? Do I knock it down? Do I push it away? And it bounced off him. He had made a great save on the previous shot by Sandovari. Double digits again for the Comets, Nick.
Nacho is 7th on the year.
Oh, that was Mirko.
Mirko Sandovari. 9.5 to play in the game. Here's Ray Lee. Over to Leo. Back to Lee. Now Adam James with a chance, and that one off the near side. Back to Berto. Here come the Comets again. Here's Berto. Drives one off the glass. Comes off to Crawford. He kicks it away. Now, oh my goodness, bombasso from Ray Lee.
Somebody needs to bring a radar gun to one of these games just to see.
Scary, hard shot. Wow.
Look at Coach Gibson tracking back on defense.
Following Crawford there in the corner. Leo touches it over to Lee. 8:53 to play in the game. Back to Neto. Ray Lee will go off. Sandovari comes back on.
Guess when you're one of the older guys on the roster and you're the coach and you hustle back on defense, you look around at the other guys and say, hey, if I can do it, you can do it too.
Berto. Pass over to Sandovari. Nacho comes back on. Sari goes off. Sandovari again with a drive. Morera makes the easy save. Sandovari able to get it past a couple of players. And then Rochester, through brute force, just kicks it out towards the half line, and then eventually a
Robert
foul
Kelly
called
didn't
against Kansas
like
City.
That one. And Robert Kelly actually stopped an odd man rush there. I don't know if we'll see the replay on that, but he didn't appreciate getting into it with Mr. Rosano there and he's telling him about it too.
We've come to learn that Robert Kelly plays with a lot of intensity out there.
You think?
I mean, every second he is out there. Morera. Comets get it. James turns just wide.
Good ball in there from Nacho.
That one thrown out of bounds, and it's turned right back over to Kansas City with under 8 to play in the game. And Kansas City leading 10-4, and a media timeout. Media timeout. Hey, folks, we invite you to check out MASL Prime Time. It is the new home for the best highlights, interviews, and action from the MASL each week. So catch the latest episode each Friday on MASLsoccer.com as Alex Bashkovansky, I think I got that right. He hosts a 30-minute deep dive into the MASL, so make sure that you check out the brand new episode each week. Also, the official MASL podcast is available on MASLsoccer.com, Apple Podcast, and now on Spotify and Google Podcast. Make sure you subscribe today and let us know what you want to hear. Or if you've got any questions, send them in. We love questions. Send us a tweet to MASL Arena on Twitter with the hashtag AskTheMASL. Eric Bergerud, Nick Vassos, Brad Zimmerman, our director, and our entire Silverstein Ice Center's crew, bringing you some action, bringing you the action here from the arena on MASL TV. It's great to have you here on Sunday. Oh, and I promised I was going to look at get an update here on the score that's going on in the Baltimore area. So I will do that here and try to do it smoothly without any too many ahs or ums or whatevers. And let's see here. We have, check this out, Eric. We have the Heat leading the Blast by a score of 3-1. And the game is in the third. Harrisburg leading Baltimore 3-1. That's interesting.
So, okay. Now, play this out in your head. So Harrisburg was at home Friday night against San Diego, lost. Baltimore was at home, San Diego won.
Correct.
Harrisburg got a day of rest. Baltimore's playing the second game in 2 at Harrisburg, right?
Yes, that's true.
What's
interesting?
Yeah.
Very interesting. So we'll keep an eye on that for you. And if we get a final before we're off the air, we'll let you know.
Waiting to hear back. Jeff Husted was going to try to do some research on these second game outcomes across the MASL, but it's tough to play two days in a row.
Yeah, Alan Bathrop's the MASL's official statistician, and he is working on that right now. So I can hear him crunching the numbers right now. That ought to be very interesting to see what he comes up with. Coming up on 7 minutes to play here, Comets a 6-goal lead. Nacho with open space on the right side, fires his shot, saved. Morera, rebound attempted, cleared away. Burst a whistle, and we've got a foul called on KC. Hector Solario flashing in there, licking his chops for his first MASL goal. He can't wait to open his account. Solario forward to Sari. Sari moves to his right, he's got space. Sari still going forward. Sari with space. Morera makes the save. Sandivari picks up the loose ball. Actually intercepted the distribution of the keeper. Now over to Gibson, then back to Sandivari, but too strong. Kansas City on the boards. Gibson's got it back. Gibson looking for a teammate, saying, where's everybody? Over to Sari. Now back front and center to Solario. Near side, Lewis. Ray Lee. Near side, Gibson. Gibson's pass to Guy Gomez. A little bit off the mark there. Guy Gomez trying to battle forward, but Ortiz comes out. He hits the deck and a foul called on Kansas City. Huh. Some contact there, not a lot, some. And a foul called on KC.
I was looking at that line. They shifted a couple players, but you had so many newcomers in with Leo Gibson. And I don't even, at this point of the season, think of Ray Lee and Matt Lewis as fresh rookies.
Yeah, no. Here's Lee.
Good turn.
Down goes the defender. Up to Leo. Leo still searching to Adam James. Try to redirect it in. Gibson lurking. That one knocked out of bounds.
He probably could have had a 7th goal there and decided he was going to pass it as a nice guy to one of his players.
If you're just joining us, Leo has 6 goals and 1 assist. Comets lead 10-4. Berto, he has a goal. Nacho has a goal tonight. Under 5 to play now. Adam James into Ray Lee. Back to Adam James from Kearney. Trying to play it back to Lee, hoping he would make a run. Lee steps in front, wins the ball back. Comets touch it over to Nacho, and they get it to open space to Berto to the far post. Lee! Oh my gosh, what a pretty play. Good passing, and almost a brilliant play by the Comets.
Great vision there from Berto. He thought that was, and he was starting to celebrate.
Wow. 4:19 left to go in the game.
We haven't talked too much about this, but the notion of Coach Leo Gibson leading the league and scoring at the end of the season isn't too far-fetched.
Right.
There may be a king in Ontario who has something to say about that, as well as Ian Bennett, but to see him managing all this and producing the way he is, that's really impressive.
Nick Pereira could surge at any moment. That's the reigning MVP. Here's Berto.
This is these players coach. You know, the player coaches think, yeah, I got to do it all.
Ray Sari. Into Solario. He tried to deflect it over to a teammate. Now the Comets work hard here to try to win the ball back. Crawford is there, looking for someone to play it to and play it back to his keeper, Morera. Morera's pass deflected. Comets get it back.
Oh, Hector.
Florida comes to Solario. Solario over to Sari, who shoots and scores! Top shelf where Grandma keeps the cookies. The Comets make the Lancers pay for coughing it up in the last third. It's 11-4.
So does Hector's dad get that excited on his son's assist? I guess we'll find out.
Absolutely. Hector comes up with his first point as a member of the Kansas City Comets.
Just great. And sorry, very calm and collected.
His first assist. His first point.
Direct your attention to Comets Division. We are officially now out of goal smoke.
Oh, those clever game day people. A little tribute to the Chiefs running out of fireworks.
We have officially ran out of goal smoke. Celebrating each goal. The Comets have 11, and so, yeah, with a wink and a nod to the Chiefs after they ran out of fireworks, the Chiefs scored 7 straight. The Comets doing a little bit of the same. Pass forward to Rochester. Stripped by Gomez. Played back to Neto. Headed back in by Ortiz of the Lancers. Gathered up by the Comets. Out to Gomez. Ooh, good play there by Guy. Used the boards to get it forward. And now here's Matt Lewis. Lewis will slow it down. 2 minutes and 23 seconds left to play in the game. This one easily in hand for Kansas City. All that's left to determine is what's going to be the final score. Nacho with a drive. Morera.
Strong save.
Very good save. Sprawling to his left. Correction, right. Now Ray Lee to Lewis. And Lewis launches it up into section 119.
I can only imagine how frustrating it might be for Rochester Lancers fans, and I say this having followed teams since the 1980s and a few teams that were in last place, but you will be the ones years from now that say, I was a Lancers fan when it was the tough time, and when everybody else claims that they were, show up next weekend, support your team, be part of the group that can legitimately say I was with the Lancers all the way, because this team, 4 goals today, they're showing they've got potential.
And Ray Sori is second in a row. It's 12-4. Wow.
Just another backdoor goal here. Good vision here by the Comets. Robert Kelly takes a couple touches, looks up, sees Sori back post. Just tired legs there from the Lancers. Didn't have their mark. Sori camped out there at the back post. Very typical arena soccer goal, and it's 12-4. But it doesn't discount what I was saying about the Lancers. Support him now.
Absolutely.
Be part of the group that can say you were there during the bad times as well as the good, because Doug Miller has a vision for this team moving forward.
Rochester back with the ball. One minute and 29 seconds left to play in the game. Solario out there along with Robert Kelly, Nacho, Sandovari, and Berto.
Robert Kelly, once again, he's like, why is it always me? I'm the one who's getting called for everything. I was the one on the ground. Tenacious.
Intense. Time winding down here in Kansas City. Comets are going to improve to 500. Lancers will continue their quest for their first win of the year.
1 minute remaining in the game.
Doug Miller, you said this, Nick. He told us pre-game. There will be a game this year.
Yeah.
Somebody overlooks this team. More likely at home than on the road, I would suspect.
35 seconds left.
30 seconds to go. Comets fans have put on a show today.
Berto, he wants more. Runs into 4 blue jerseys.
Good for them that they came back. For me, that's a sense of pride that they don't want to give up any more goals. I think it's safe to say the team in black and gold ran it up on them last night, and they probably didn't want to experience that again here today. So you want to see that sense of pride and team that we're not just going to hang our heads down. We're not going to give up at the end of the match. We're going to fight all the way to the final whistle. There you go.
Rochester will hold it. Final second ticks off the clock, and it's now a final. Kansas City 12, Rochester 4. Comets are 500, 6-6. The Lancers drop to 0-11. 6 goals by Leo Gibson and 1 assist. Ray Sari had a pair of goals. Kevin Ellis had a goal. Berto had a goal. Mirko Sandovari had a goal. And the Comets are back on the winning side once again. They will now have the next weekend off and will not return to action until February the 6th. And that'll be a Thursday, a rare Thursday game here at Silverstein Ice Centers against the Harrisburg Heat. One of the teams that is challenging for one of those playoff spots, those 4 playoff spots in the Eastern Division. So this game against Harrisburg will be an important one. And again, last check, Harrisburg was winning at home against Baltimore just a little while ago.
And so if you put Florida in the 1 spot and then Milwaukee, Utica 2-3,
yeah,
who's going to get number 4? I think that's probably what we're looking at.
Getting an update here on the score in Harrisburg. It is now even. 3 up, even at 3 with 3:12 left to go in the third. Here's Steve Serrano.
Can't score 6 goals and not want to talk to us real fast. A big game for you and a big game for these Comets today.
I know. That's why I came over right away. Yeah, it was huge for us. Right now we need to get over 500, so that's our goal.
What do you take from today? Even though you scored 12, what do you need to work on after scoring 12 goals today as a team?
Well, I think tonight our challenge was just being disciplined and playing our role responsibly, because with games like this, you kind of get carried away easily. Everybody wants to score, but the guys did a good job sticking to their roles and responsibility, so it was good.
Anything you'd like to say to some of these fans that you might not get to see after this game?
Well, we want to say thank you for coming out. We hope we can see you again. This is a fantastic atmosphere, and to our fans that are here every game, we just want to say thank you for the continuous support.
There you go, Leo Gibson, 6 goals. Big win for the Comets, 12-4.
All right, that's our Steve Serrano there with no doubt our man of the match, right?
And arguably, well, we don't get to vote. Somebody will, well, I guess we do get to vote. If you vote on Twitter this week for Player of the Week, undoubtedly on Team of the Week, we'll see if he becomes Player of the Week. But hard to argue, 6 goals, 1 assist, 2 pinged off players like that one in the first half, but they still all count.
So Kansas City gets the victory here against the Rochester Lancers and improved to 6-6. Rochester still swimming without a victory of their own. They dropped to 0-11. Kansas City's next opponent Thursday, February 6th against the Harrisburg Heat right here at Silverstein Ice Centers Arena. Rochester, they will go home to host the Baltimore Blast Friday, January 31st. Go support your Lancers as they take on the Baltimore Blast. Time to say goodbye. So for our entire Silverstein Ice Centers crew, including Brad Zimmerman, our director, my broadcast partner Eric Bergrup, Seth Parker on statistics, and Pat Clifton, Director of Media Relations for the Comets, celebrating a birthday today, we say thank you to everybody here who helped make this broadcast possible. I'm Nick Vasso saying good night from Kansas City.